Hello, guys. Welcome back to Real Chill Conversations. How you doing today, Brenna?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thank God.
Yes. Happy weekend.
Yes. And I wanted to talk about today on this podcast how to handle negativity. We as humans, of course, we go through it pretty much on a regular basis.
Absolutely.
So let's learn together today because I feel like it's a very important topic that we should share
Yeah.
and tell the people how do we manage negativity.
Yes. It's a great topic, and I'm excited to talk about it tonight because, you know, we're hit with so many things on a daily basis that we have to overcome. And it's very easy to succumb to the negativity that's brought upon us, and it brings us down, it weighs us down, it stresses us out, it has us all out of sorts. So, if we can talk about ways to overcome that negativity, then we can help eliminate some of that burden, from our everyday lives, which is important because you got to stay strong. You got to stay fighting. We're moms. We've got careers. We've got different things that we've got to manage. We've got to handle. And being under the burden of negativity is definitely not something that you want to be stuck under.
Absolutely. And how can we remove the negative thoughts? Because I know, like, that's one of the biggest things is trying to get your mind frame in a better state and replace them with positive thoughts. So when you're having a negative thought, what are some of the things that you do to try to overcome that?
I think about and I go back to positive affirmations, reminding myself of the things that I've accomplished, the things that I've achieved, the things that I've made it through, to reinforce my strength and to not let whatever negatively is affecting me at the time have a further impact. So positive affirmations is definitely one of those things. Reminding myself that I am worthy, that I am strong, that I am capable, that I can do this, that this too shall pass. I'm going to get through it. All kinds of those things, positive affirmations. That's one of the definite go tos as far as my first step in trying to overcome negativity that comes my way.
Absolutely. I try affirmations as well. And I think is one of the biggest thing that did help me when I was going through a really dark moment. And what I did is I went to buy a sticky notepad
Hmm.
and I would just write down um, my affirmations, the things that were important to me
Yes,
to tell myself every morning and every night before I went to sleep.
absolutely.
And I like paste them on the mirror because
Mhm.
that's the first place you go to is the bathroom in the mirror. So I used to like go over it every morning and every night, and it's one of the things that helped me get through my dark moment at that time.
Yes. So, journal. So I will write in a journal kind of what I'm going through and the steps that I can take to overcome what it is that I'm going through, what is really affecting me, how is it affecting me, kind of working through the process. And I've gone back and I've read through certain things, when I was in a dark place or having a dark moment, having a dark time, and look through going through those experiences and then what I did to overcome it, and that's very helpful as well because it does show you that there is light at the end of the tunnel. You're not going to always be stuck in a dark place. You're not going to always be stuck in a negative place. And that's been very helpful to me as well.
Yeah, journaling is cool too. It's really cool. Um, I do also want to say that I ask myself certain questions when I'm going through negative thoughts. And one of those questions is, what am I going to gain from this?
Right.
Nothing.
Right. There's
Nothing.
there's no benefit to it whatsoever. So it really is kind of pointless to let the negativity seep into your mindset and throw you off your path and knock you off of your goals, because you're not going to gain anything from it except getting, placed into a dark moment and going through a dark period.
And it will knock you off because especially if you're trying to like manifest anything in your life,
Right.
as far as your goals, your career, your love life.
Right.
If you're sitting here thinking about all the negative things that could happen and stuff like that, that's going to throw you off.
Right.
And it's going to be much harder to manifest what it is that you're trying to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I agree.
But what happens when you feel lonely?
I mean, when I feel lonely, certainly, I have kids. So, I try to do something fun with my kids, spend time with my kids. I have pets. I spend time with them, with my dog, with my cat. My spouse, I'll spend time with him. Sometimes I'll just go for a walk, by myself and just kind of walk myself, and thinking things into my mind. I might be listening to music while I'm walking just to get me in a more upbeat mood and to not be feeling like I'm so alone. Because a lot of times I do think that when negativity enters into our lives, we feel like we're alone at the time and that we're going through it by ourselves. And that's not necessarily the case. It feels like it is, but it's only the case if you're letting it sink in and manifest into your mindset that you're in a negative place, that you're in a bad spot. If you allow yourself to believe that you're in a bad spot, you're going to be in a bad spot because you're going to be in a dark place, and it's really hard to dig yourself out of that dark place. It's not impossible, but it does take some work and it does take some effort, on your part to get yourself out of that mindset.
Absolutely. And these are negative emotions.
Yeah.
So just like we have negative thoughts, we have negative emotions. Like recognize it. Whatever situation that is giving you that negativity emotionally, recognize the situation. Um, the mind is a very powerful thing.
Yes.
So, if you feel lost or lonely or anything, try to look for things that you enjoy doing that makes you happy.
Yeah.
Because once you start doing those things, it kind of stray you away, from feeling the negativity as well as thinking it as well.
And have you ever just had a time in which you were having just, like the day from hell, and then out of the blue, one of your kids comes up to you and gives you a hug and it's like, "Mommy, I love you," for no reason? It's little things like that that can really melt away the negative thoughts and kind of wash away, what a bad day I was having, because it does make you feel appreciated. And that does a lot to kind of reinforce, hey, I need to not be in this mindset. I need to stay positive. I need to stay focused. I'm wanted. I'm loved. I'm appreciated. I'm worthy. I'm worth it. I just love that.
Yes, I mean, with just me seeing them smile,
Yeah.
that's what melts my heart. So it put me in a different state, like totally different state. So if I went through a negative argument or whatever, or if I'm in a negative situation, it's like all I got to see is, okay, let me see my kids. Let me just see a smile from them. And that will put me in a different state because it makes me just forget about it.
Absolutely.
It's also important to build distress tolerance.
Hmm.
Pause for a few moments, stay calm. Um, Instead of, you control the stress, don't let it control you.
Right.
And I think that is one of the biggest things is trying to control stress because sometimes we don't even know if we're stressing or not.
Exactly. Exactly. something negative can happen and your emotions can get the best of you and cause you to react. Um,
Mhm.
that reaction can trigger, a cascade of events of just negativity. But if you do take a minute, like you said, and pause, for a second and think about the situation, if you need to do some deep breathing or if you need to resort to some meditation, just get in a quiet place and meditate. These are all things that can help relieve that stress and to take that off of you. But I think one of the important things to remind yourself is not to react immediately. When something negative impacts you, when something negative happens to you, don't immediately blow up and
Right.
you know what I'm saying? And that's something I've just had to learn, with time and just with maturity and just growing up. I mean, when I was younger, things would impact me negatively, and I would be very quick to respond and very quick to react, not realizing that I was contributing to the stress that I was putting onto myself by my reaction. When I
Especially when some people know your trigger points. It's like you're giving them that power.
when I took a minute and, calmed down and got myself together and reevaluated the situation and controlled how I responded to the negative situation, I had much better outcomes and I had a much better result. And even was able to stop some of the negativity that was happening in my point, especially if it was negativity that was coming from another person. If it was negativity that was coming from an interaction with another person that was causing it, if I was quick to respond, then the negativity would just continue because there would be this ongoing back and forth. But if I stopped and took a moment and didn't immediately react and didn't give them that reaction that they then fed off of to continue being negative towards me, we ended the back and forth. The back and forth stopped. So then so did the negativity.
Yes, absolutely. Um, and look for positive outcomes. I think that's another thing that I have to learn and start really tackling instead of thinking about negative outcomes.
Yeah,
It is really hard to get out of that mind frame.
it is.
It's not easy.
No.
It's a challenge.
Yes, it
Um, but we should do it because that's when you start actually the manifestation of what you really want your truth to be like. How do you want your life to turn out?
is.
And you're the one that has to live it. So you don't want to live in negativity. I've had to refrain myself from negativity all the time. And I just had this challenge not too long ago. Well, they tried me. They tried me.
Yeah.
But I gave it to God.
Which is a good thing to do. And I've had to encourage myself and give myself and kind of build myself up. I mean, I've had my moments when I've been in a dark place and I've just felt like, the weight of the world. Um,
Mhm.
I couldn't see myself out of the solution. I couldn't seem to find any answers. My mind was a mess. I couldn't get my thoughts straight. I couldn't really make any decisions effectively. And then it's like one day I just was like, girl, get up, go for a walk, come back, take a shower, get dressed, put on some nice clothes, put your makeup on, go about your day, do what you need to do. And when I accomplished those things, when I checked off all of those things off of my list, by midday, I was feeling better because I had pulled myself out of my own rut. I had talked myself out of getting out of my own rut instead of staying in that place, because being in that place wasn't helpful and being in that place was not accomplishing anything. I wasn't getting anything done. I wasn't doing what I was supposed to be doing. I wasn't taking care of what I was supposed to be taking care of. And I had to pull myself out of that. And I had to really like give myself a wake up call and give myself that pep talk. Girl, get up and, go do something, go do it. And when I did it, I mean, I felt much better. And that was like an accomplishment. And I remember journaling that, the difference that I felt from when I woke up that morning to how I felt later in the day after getting out and about and handling things and taking care of things that were on my list of things to do that I needed to take care of. And I felt a lot better. And I was actually, proud of myself. And that was, again, a proving point that the negative mindset can have just a terrible impact on everything, on your whole life. And it can hold you down and it can hold you back from, like you said, manifesting your goals, accomplishing your goals, achieving the things that you want to achieve. But you can get yourself out of it.
You can. And it's really hot right now, as far as I see a lot of people focusing on more failure, anger, negativity, drama, trying to um, make the other person react
Yes.
off of negativity, off their negativity. And like some of us, we don't want that.
No.
Like that is so tiring to me. That's like giving you all my energy.
Yeah, it's
I
exhausting.
don't have time. Like,
It's
I
exhausting.
just want to be happy. I want to live.
Yes.
I don't want to be miserable. I don't want to be thinking about drama 24/7.
No.
I
No.
want to be thinking about how to be, make life happier for my kids,
Right.
how to make more money. I
Right.
mean,
Yeah.
it's a lot of more things that are more important than being in drama full of negativity. I mean, you get nothing out of it. What am I getting out of it?
Yeah. If it has drama written all over, please just keep away from me. And if it comes my way, then I do my best to try to get myself as far removed from the situation as possible. Like I want no parts of it. I
Focus on your goals.
I don't give it my energy. And that's a boundary of mine. I refuse to give it my energy. So I don't engage in negativity with negative people and with toxic people. If you have toxic energy and you have bad energy, then stay away from me. Don't come my way. And if you do come my way, I'm not gonna reciprocate with giving you any kind of energy back. You're not gonna get anything from me. You're
You
not.
know what? That is one of the things that I do. Like when I'm feeling like if I'm having like a bad day or just a negative day, I try to refrain myself from people
Yeah.
because I don't want to rub that. You may be in a perfect, beautiful mood. Like, I
Right.
don't want to rub that off on you.
Right.
You know
Right.
what I'm So I
Up on-
try to just go calm down, think about it. And like I said, ask myself these questions because at the end of the day, it's not going to do anything for me.
Right.
Then I try to come back, or I may just, want to talk to you about something,
Yeah.
Brenda, because sometimes that's how
Yeah.
that is how I express myself sometimes. It's
Yeah.
just that I just want to get it out,
Yeah.
you know? Um,
It's good. I think it's good to get it out, and it's good to have people that you can talk to and that you can confide in, that aren't going to judge you for what you're going through. They're not
right.
you for how you're feeling. They're going to be supportive of you. They're going to be encouraging of you. And that's vital. That's very important. For you to be able to pick up the phone and reach out to somebody or sit down with somebody and have a conversation and just be like, "Whoo, girl, I am having a time. This is what's going on. This is the situation." And this is what happened, and this is how I'm feeling. And it's good to be able to have those conversations with another person, and also to get another perspective, but also see the other person's perspective as to where they may be coming from before you come to making any type of rash decision. And again, that comes with calming down, taking a moment, letting the situation just rest for a minute, put it on pause, and just doing the internal review that you need to do to figure out, okay, how do we come to a resolution? And of course, communication is the key, but you want to communicate in an effective way and in a non-negative way so that you can come to resolution and understanding.
Exactly. So don't judge yourself. Um, let go. It's important to let go of self judgment to find peace. Talk to people about it.
Yeah,
If you have close people that are, people that are close to you, talk to them about it.
yeah.
Like sometimes, I talk to my close friends and they bring me back.
Mhm.
And you just need that one person to bring you back.
Yeah.
Hey,
Come on back.
I got you.
Come on
Just
back.
come
I
on back. We know
I
it
hear.
don't be that deep, y'all.
Yep. Yep.
It don't. It really don't be that deep.
Mhm.
Um, yeah. And write it down. Write it down. Write it down and then burn it.
Yep. That's another way of letting it go. That's a great way to let things go, is to write it down and burn it.
If you don't want to tell nobody, write it down and burn it.
Yeah. Yep. From your mind to God's ears. It's just between you and God.
Okay. I wanted to ask this question because now I'm going to, how do you tackle negative people? People that are being negative.
People that are being negative, the first thing that pops into my mind is, what is causing this person to act this way?
Hmm.
Done something to this person? Does this person have something against me? What is the reason for the behavior? Because there's always a reason for the behavior. And a lot of times, negative behavior that we receive from other people has nothing to do with us or anything that we've done or anything that we've said. It's something that lies within them and in their minds and their mindset and how they think about things. And that's how they choose to handle the situation. Me, myself, like I said, set boundaries, and I don't engage with negative people. If you have negative energy, if you have toxic energy, you can keep that away from me. There's no point in having a conversation. There's no point in communicating. There's no point in trying to have a discussion, especially with a person that's negative, because all they have to say are negative things. And a lot of times that turns them into trying to blame you for whatever issue that's at hand that you have absolutely nothing to do with. Or they want to blame you for something they feel that you've done, which you haven't. It's just their way and their interpretation of what's going on.
Or some people just don't like you, period.
Some people just don't like you, period. There's plenty of that goes around too. But I don't give them my energy. I don't respond. I don't react. I'm very much, you get nothing from me.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter. Like I see a lot of people indulging in negativity, whether a person is doing good or a person is doing bad. It's like they never have anything positive to say about that person.
Right.
They're always looking at the negative things about that person.
Or the negative things that they feel about that person, which transpires into just a whole cloud of negativity that surrounds that person, that is non existent. because it's all in that other person's thought process and all in that other person's mind. I mean, if you think about it, if you think about all the encounters that you've had with negative people and being in a negative situation, being confronted by someone with negative energy, and how that confrontation was, and how negative it is, and how toxic it is, and the terrible things that they have to say to you, that they call you, that they say to you, that they blame on you, and all of that. What is that doing? What
And why do you think it's easier to look at more negativity in a person than positivity?
I, that's a great question. I think,
Because it is kind of easy, right? To
yeah,
point out all the
yeah. I think that we're so exposed to so much behavior
yeah.
that's gone on, and that has happened, and everybody has a story. Everybody has a past. Everybody has experiences that were not so good and not so great, and leaned more towards the negative side. So I think it's easier to kind of see that in a person before you see the other side. I think we a lot of times assume the worst in a situation just because of past things that we've experienced and past things that we've gone through. We've kind of almost trained ourselves to expect the worst.
In people.
Uh,
And not only that, but it goes back to what you were saying. It's like it's within you. And I think a lot of us have been, subject to that.
yeah,
It's almost like it's natural, but
it,
it's not natural.
it's natural in situations when you have negative people come from a negative place, and a lot of that negativity comes from different traumas,
Background could be your background,
different,
your yeah,
different, whether it's trauma as a child that you experienced, or trauma with your parents, or trauma with something terrible happening to
or
you,
in a relationship. Yeah,
relationship trauma. I mean, that causes damage. And if you don't deal with the damage, and if you don't heal from the things that have injured you emotionally, it is going to lead you towards a road of being a negative person. You're going to be someone that doesn't see the glass as half full. You're going to see the glass as half empty, unfortunately. And there's a lot of traumatized, unhealed people out here
absolutely.
doing damage to healthy, giving, loving, caring, wonderful people that don't deserve this behavior at all. But we're on the receiving end of it, unfortunately.
I think those people are also put in your life for a reason. But instead of us learning from it, we bash it.
Yeah,
We ended up kicking it away,
yeah.
pushing it away, you know?
And I think, early, at least early on for me, encountering negative situations and encountering negative people, I think I held myself more responsible for the situation than I should have been. I was in a place where I felt like, oh, like what did I do wrong? I must have done something wrong. Like, what did I say? What did I do? I just assumed that it was me, that it was something that I was doing and something that I was saying, or I wasn't doing this enough, or I wasn't doing this.
So you were trying to fix it and
I-
you still wasn't amounting to what it should be. So you're like, okay, what's going on?
exactly.
Because I'm trying everything and
Exactly.
it's still not good enough.
Exactly. Exactly. That's exactly it. And then I just had to finally reach a point where I told myself, I had to take a look at myself and have a conversation with myself in the mirror, and was like, you've done this, you've done this, you've done this, you've done this. No change, no change, no change, no change. Brenna, the situation has nothing to do with you. It's with this other person. And
Exactly.
leaving that negativity behind and then not engaging with that person, I saw how much better I felt about myself. I saw my self worth return. I saw my value return. I saw my worthiness return. I saw my self esteem rise and skyrocket. And I realized that it wasn't me. It was the other person. And I could have, gone to the moon and brought down a star for this person, and it wouldn't have been enough.
It'll work. It's not gonna work. It's still not enough.
It wouldn't have been enough. Like, I went to the moon and pulled down a star for you and brought this star for you. Look what I did. And, I was all about these grand gestures and let me do this and, let me change myself and modify myself. And I did all this changing and modifying, and it still wasn't doing anything. And in the meanwhile, I'm sitting back and I'm miserable because I'm not who I am, because I'm having to change to try to keep somebody else happy. And another person's happiness is not your responsibility. It's not your responsibility. Certainly, you can do things to enhance a person's life and to
Right.
increase their happiness and add joy to their life. But you ultimately can't make them happy if they're not happy with themselves.
And you don't want to subtract, you know, from anyone.
Right.
You want to add. So if I feel like I'm triggering negativity out of you all the time, that's not adding to your life.
Right. Exactly.
So there is something within you, yourself,
Yeah.
okay, that you need to reflect on.
Right.
Because if you're constantly with this negativity and you don't know where it's coming from, I think it's time for you to reflect on yourself.
It is.
That's what I did. That's what I do.
Yeah, absolutely. One.
Because most of the time, like Brenna said, it doesn't really be that other person, it be you.
Yep. That's it.
Because it's your thoughts, they're your emotions,
Yep.
they're your actions.
Absolutely.
So you have to somewhere take accountability of that.
Yes.
So the blame game and blaming it on other people when you come in contact with negativity, oh, they did this, they did that, you know what I'm saying? Please first look at yourself,
Yeah.
because what you're bringing out of it is not even helpful, because now you're triggering that person.
Right.
Okay, that person triggers you. Now you're triggering it back. It's like,
And you have to look
what are
at
you gaining from that?
the pattern of behavior. When somebody says, "I did
Figure out what triggers you.
because you did X, Y, and Z," and what you did was not out of pocket and was not out of source, but this person is blaming you for their shitty behavior, that's a red flag. That should be a warning to you that, hey, this problem is not because I did X, Y, and Z. This problem is because this other person just has a problem.
Exactly. And you may need help.
Hmm.
It's okay. It's a lot of things that we need help in.
Yeah.
And I've always advocated for that. Like,
Yeah.
seek counseling.
Hmm.
If it's something that you can work on yourself, you know.
Absolutely.
I think there's a big problem with accountability too.
Right.
Like I was saying in the Facebook post, a lot of people don't want to be accountable for things.
No.
They think it makes them look like they're the worst person in the world. No, it does not.
No, I think the opposite. I think when people are accountable for their behavior, that actually gives me respect for that person for taking accountability and being a stand up person and saying, hey, I did this. I made this mistake. This is what I said. I was out of line. I was wrong for what I did. Whatever the case may be, when you take accountability, to me, that goes a really long way, especially if you're trying to be in a situation where you're trying to keep communication open, and you're trying to keep a dialogue open and have a conversation about whatever it is that's going on. To me, accountability is one of the number one things. You have to take accountability for your actions, and myself included. I'm not perfect. I'm human. I make mistakes. Sometimes I get it wrong. And if I get it wrong, I have no problem apologizing and taking accountability for what I've said or what I've done to the other person or to the other party. That goes a long way. That goes a really long way.
Yes, and I feel like a lot of people miss out on great relationships, beautiful relationships that could last, years.
Right.
Whether it's romantically, friendship,
Yeah.
relationship with your mother, your sisters, your brothers, um, all of those meaningful relationships that means a lot usually to us.
Yeah.
And we miss out on them because we don't want to take accountability. Nobody is perfect.
Nobody is.
Listen,
Nobody.
it's a lot of relationships that I wish and I crave that we're closer,
Yeah.
but I can't do it by myself either.
Right. It does.
You know, if the other person doesn't want to be accountable and doesn't want to say, hey, it takes two, to have a relationship, it doesn't matter what kind of relationship you're having.
Yeah.
It takes two.
Yeah.
So you can initiate it, and try to keep doing it. But if the other person's not being receptive to it, so it's kind of hard.
Right.
At that point, I understand.
Right.
It's just not going to happen.
Point too, you have to let it go. You have to know that you initiated, you made the effort, the other person wasn't receptive, or maybe they're just not ready at that time or whatever. And you have to get in to keep it moving, but don't let that impact you, negatively. It might seem
Yeah, don't let it impact you negative. No.
little, it might hurt a little bit, but you have to realize that, that aspect of it is not about you. You
And if it didn't work, it's their loss.
Yeah,
You
absolutely.
know, you did an amazing thing
Yeah.
that most people don't do.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Um I don't talk about my situations to bring others down. I talk about it because I want you to know that the same power I found in me is in within you as well.
Right.
So I used to be full of negativity because that's all that was around me.
Hmm.
You know, had to listen to other people's stories. We talked about it. We tried to excel with them, get them in a higher beat.
Yeah.
It was like it was sucking my energy.
Right.
So not only I was trying to bring another person up, other person's vibration up, which is something that you can try to do, when a person is going through something, but on a constant basis, it will end up draining you.
Will drain you. Yes, it will.
So when you have to constantly do that, you may want to think twice,
Yeah,
because some people get lost.
you do. You do. And that's when you have to have that conversation with yourself and make the decision, do I need to pull back from this situation? Do I need to remove myself from this situation because it's literally sucking the energy and the life out of me? And that's not fair to you as a person. Nobody should be draining you of your livelihood and of your energy because you're giving your all to them, and they're not replenishing the pot. If it's all take, 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 and no give and give, there's no equal balance.
There's not. And
There's
this is what I'm trying to say. Negative people have a problem for every solution. These type of people will drain your energy. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. Well said.
Um, yeah. So that was my topic for today. I think we did great tackling negativity.
Yeah.
Everyone comes to your life for a lesson or a blessing.
Yes.
So the ones that are meant to stay, they're gonna stay. The
Mhm.
ones that are not meant to stay, they're not gonna stay. And I know sometimes we don't want to let people go.
Right.
Um, but surround yourself around um with good people.
Yeah.
People that are not gonna drain your energy, people that are not constantly in a negative state, you know.
Right.
Um, they add value to you.
Mhm.
And you can start feeling different
Abs-
about life itself.
Absolutely.
You could finally start manifesting some of the beautiful things that you want to accomplish in your life, but you're constantly in a corner saying, when are these things going to come into fruition?
Right.
But we have all this negativity surrounding us that it's taking a while.
So you have to remove yourself from it. Move yourself from it, distance yourself from it, find ways to rebound from the negativity that enters into your life. Don't let it seep into your mindset. Don't let it disrupt your positive thought flow. Remember to do your positive affirmations. Remind yourself who you are and what you're capable of. Anybody that's been through something and you came through out on the other side, hey, congratulate yourself. You did it. You you got yourself out of that place that you were in, and look at you now. Be proud of yourself and remind yourself of that anytime that you find yourself stuck in a situation and you're starting to feel a certain way and you're feeling negative. Remind yourself of what you've done and what you've accomplished and how you made it through a difficult situation, and maybe it was multiple difficult situations that you had to get yourself through, but you did it. And you're
You did it, and you can do it.
Yep. Yep.
And don't let people suck your energy. um, you will strive with positivity. And
Absolutely.
that's where many of us have been lied to for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like just being positive and trying to keep. I know you're not going to be positive every single day about every single thing,
Right.
but most of the time, that's where you're going to strive for what you really want. And remember, you are what you consume.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah. So if you're consuming positive energy is going to be around you.
Right.
Choose wisely, be grateful. Um, be grateful of toxic people. I was, because they, shoved themselves to the
it,
side.
it taught you a lesson. It taught
It did.
showed you how strong you are and how capable you are. And had you not been put through that test, maybe you might not have realized it now. Maybe
Exactly. And they showed me what I was not.
it may have been 10 years before you realized it, but you realized it now. And that's the beauty and that's the blessing in this situation. So, with every negative situation, every negative person that comes into your life, whatever the reason that there is behind it, know that you can make it through out on the other side, and be proud of yourself and know that you
Thank you.
have the power within yourself to do it.
You do. And the power is within yourself.
It
It's
is.
like, don't look for it nowhere else. It's on you. It's
So
on you, baby.
you got to rescue.
Um, when they start being negative, rethink about bringing positive things in,
Mhm.
and remind them why you in their lives. You have to do that.
Yeah.
Remind them,
Yeah. Absolutely.
because sometimes we take people for granted,
Yeah.
but they're coming in to help us.
Mhm.
And what we do is, instead of receiving it, we push it away.
Right. Which is unfortunate, and we shouldn't do that.
Well, no, I mean, some people just not meant for that.
Yeah,
But you can't say you want change if you're not willing to accept it.
exactly. Exactly. You can't want for your life to be different, but you're not willing to do anything different about your life. So you've
So
had,
just think about that.
yeah, yeah.
Peace out, y'all.
Right, guys.
Bye, Brenda.
Speak. Bye.
Love y'all. Bye bye.